It is the deadliest conflict since World War II. For nearly a decade, militants from many African countries had been fighting in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, a conflict that has left more than 5 million people dead. A peace accord to end the bloodshed was signed just a few weeks ago, but the killing continues in many areas. Tonight, the story of one man fighting a different kind of battle there to save the children and himself.
Seeing them here without parents. Seeing them here with tattered clothes. Running barefoot on lava. I hear the stories, and if those were my children, I don't know what I would do. Chambo.
Art Lucier is a man whose troubled past took him on a quest for redemption into Africa's heart of darkness. 3 years ago, he arrived in eastern Congo, a country about a quarter of the size of the U.S., where the 10-year ethnic war for political power and mineral wealth continues today.
I had never been anywhere before, so when I came here, it shocked me, actually.
Shocked him into finding himself by discovering that a 38-year-old man of lowly ambitions could make such a soaring difference in the lives of the most vulnerable. Art would discover some of the most disturbing stories of children and war in the city of Goma, where lava from a recent volcanic eruption razed much of the city. And yet, in the middle of this shanty town, 5 wooden shacks sprang up, a haven for some 150 orphans of Congo's war.
If this place wasn't here, they would die. Simple, it's straight up, they die.
But even in this place of refuge, the children have to hike more than 6 miles for water and can't count on a daily meal.
So they've been eating once a day, sometimes once every 2 days.
Sometimes not at all.
Some of our kids here have died, actually, as of late. Malnutrition. It is about survival.
Among the survivors is 12-year-old Sam, who, as a 7-month-old baby, was found in the arms of his murdered mother. They killed my mother and my father, he says, and they slashed me with a machete and cut off my hand. Chantal was just 6 when she was taken by soldiers. She spent 9 years as their sex slave and became pregnant.
When you become pregnant, they will kill your baby as soon as you start to show. So she made a run for it.
Most children here carry stories of tragedy that are hard to comprehend. Art is trying to help all of them before the orphanage settles the lucky ones into families. But he might never have come to Congo if not for some bad history of his own. He grew up in Terrace, a poor logging town in western Canada, in a family troubled with alcohol. At age 16, Art dropped out of school for the streets, and 2 years later was dealing cocaine. He believes he drew his 17-year-old girlfriend Crystal into drugs, even though they had a daughter. Then Crystal got into a drug deal that turned bad, and their life together was cut short.
She was murdered, her body dumped outside the local airport in Terrace.
Though Art had nothing to do with the drug deal, he wrapped himself in guilt, and worse. He gave up his daughter for adoption, perhaps never to see her again, and thought about ending it all.
Instead of committing suicide, I decided to throw out a prayer, just to see if there is a God, and he answered me, I feel.
He got married, had twin boys, and began working with troubled teens. And yet, for years, he felt unfulfilled. Then, a young evangelist asked for volunteers to build a dormitory at a new orphanage in Africa. Art, a self-taught carpenter, jumped at the chance to help, and that's how we ended up in Congo.
I know there's need and suffering here. I am being accountable out here.
Only after the dormitory project was completed, Art continued building. A second dormitory, a protective wall to keep out militants, and the beginnings of a school for children, including Chantal and Sam.
Wow, you smile. Why do you smile? About Art Lucier. Is he a good man? say that he is a very, very good man.
Art has made a huge difference here, says the orphanage director, called Mama Jane. God bless Art for what he's done.
I don't know if I'm making a difference. I'd like to think I am. Maybe one day they'll move on to this property and have a bit better of a life.
If Art doesn't know whether he has changed any lives, he believes his mission in Congo has already changed his own.
I love to talk about what God has done for me. He's changed my heart. Maybe I've had to come halfway around the world to really find that out, but I'm finding that out.
Finding out that his faith is giving hope to those who have so little.
We see a desert out there and we're throwing a drop of water at it, hoping that maybe it turns the desert into a place of plenty for the children.
A few years ago, Art Lucier's daughter suddenly contacted him, and she is now an important part of his life. To learn more about Art's work in Congo, visit our website. The address is dateline.msnbc.com.